There's more to it than it just being a myth and a legend. We're speaking about the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon, Queen of Sheba, and Makeda. Now here's what's really, really interesting, and this is just an introduction to this particular subject matter, and we have spoken on this and taught on some of the elements of the overall story. Let's call it a story. Some call it a myth and a legend, but there's more to it than it just being a myth and a legend. We're speaking about the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon, Queen of Sheba, and Makeda. Makeda, that's the proper pronunciation. So I know some would pronounce the name as Makeda, but most of those speakers who pronounce it as Makeda most likely are not Amharic or Ethiopian speakers. But the story of the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon, but the Queen of Sheba, most people focus on the story of the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon, mainly from the biblical and some of the other versions of it that is out there. Just to speak kind of generally right here. The main purpose of this particular lecture and this particular teaching is to show how the Queen of Sheba's father, her father, Makeda's father, was the original Killuminati. Now some will say, no, the Killuminati is Tupac Shakur and Machiavelli, the Don, so forth and so on. Well, that's how we know of it today. This is how we know, and this is so far removed from the origination of this whole cosmic and earthly human drama, and we as black folks are intimately connected with this whole thing. For example, we saw a couple of videos that are out there, and some teachers and scholars speaking on the Illuminati, namely David Icke, and when he had interviewed Credo Mutwa in South Africa, the shaman in South Africa, which spoke at length about the African gnosis or knowledge concerning the reptilian agenda was the particular program. And also from that particular program, the connections and the links with the so-called reptilian agenda and the whole reptiles and these aliens and extraterrestrials in Africa is something that is well known, especially among the older generation, those who are connected with the older African traditions. And many of the African kings are somehow connected with this ancient form of what's known as the reptilian agenda, or today we will call it Illuminati, because David Icke and others have made the connection with Illuminati. And this is just a kind of an introduction right here. But the point of our lecture is to show and to prove from the evidence that we have that the Queen of Sheba's father, her father, was the original Killuminati, or the original one to kill the Illuminati, to kill this reptilian agenda that was and said and thought to be of extraterrestrial origin. So Makeda, the Queen of Sheba's father, her father, according to the legend and according to Ethiopic and Ethiopian, indigenous Ethiopian teaching, the Queen of Sheba's father, Makeda's father, was the original Killuminati. And there's a personal reason we have to admit, there's a personal reason in us beginning to go into this element of the story, because as strange as it seems, the thing that was is the thing that shall be. In other words, what has happened is also what shall happen. And we read that in the book of Kolet, known as the book of Ecclesiastes, saying that there's nothing new under the sun. The things that have happened are the things that will happen. And what's very interesting is that we don't really understand where this is all going to end. Ethiopia,
እጆችሽን ወደ እግዚአብሔር ዘርጊ በመከራሽ ዘመን የሚረዳሽ አምላክሽ ነውና ወደሱ ተጠጊ